Easy and Slow Storytelling with Nicholas Branson. Nicholas Branson is rarely the headline. He is not the founder, not the icon, not the public symbol of a global brand. And that is precisely the point. When people hear the name Branson, they think of spectacle, balloon flights, bold marketing, risk taken in public, a personality larger than the companies themselves. Nicholas Branson chose a different path. He was born into visibility, but not into inevitability. Being the son of Richard Branson did not come with a script. It came with expectations, and expectations can be heavier than opportunity. Nicholas Branson grew up around ambition, around stories of failure and reinvention. Virgin was not built smoothly. It was built through near collapses, public bets, and constant reinvention. He watched this from the inside. But unlike his father, Nicholas did not gravitate toward attention. He did not seek to become the face of anything. He did not attempt to inherit charisma. He chose distance and discipline. Nicholas Branson studied history, not business, not engineering. History. That choice matters. History trains you to look backward, to see patterns, to understand consequences, not just outcomes. Where Richard Branson thrives on momentum, Nicholas Branson leans toward structure, toward analysis, toward patience. This contrast defines his role. He did not enter Virgin as a savior, or as a successor. He entered as a learner, working quietly, understanding how capital moves, how decisions ripple, how brands endure beyond founders. Nicholas Branson became involved in investment, not entrepreneurship in the traditional sense, but capital allocation, backing founders, supporting ideas, providing leverage rather than direction. This is a quieter form of power, less visible, less celebrated, but often more durable. Investors shape outcomes without owning narratives. Nicholas Branson embraced that position. He joined Virgin's investment arm, focusing on early-stage companies, technology, sustainability, health, education, areas aligned with long-term societal shifts, not short-term hype. Unlike the Virgin brand of earlier decades, these investments were not about disruption for attention. They were about systems, infrastructure, quiet improvements, the kind that compound slowly. Nicholas Branson showed a preference for founders, not celebrities, not vision performers, but operators. People who build patiently, who think in decades. This reflected his own temperament. Being a second-generation figure is complicated. Too much involvement invites accusations of nepotism. Too little raises questions of relevance. Nicholas Branson navigated this by staying precise. Contributing without dominating, present without performing. He did not try to replicate Virgin's original energy. He understood that context had changed. The world no longer rewards spectacle in the same way. Capital is more cautious. Markets are more crowded. Narratives wear out faster. Instead, he focused on governance, on support, on asking the right questions, not providing the loudest answers. This is less romantic, but often more effective. Nicholas Branson also represents a generational shift. From founder-driven empires to systems-driven organizations, from personality to process, from instinct to evidence. This does not mean he rejects intuition. But intuition is filtered, tested, compared against history, against data, against long-term consequence. In many ways, Nicholas Branson is not building companies. He is building conditions. Conditions where others can build. This is an inversion of the traditional legacy story. He is also conscious of responsibility. Wealth without contribution creates instability. Influence without accountability erodes trust. This awareness shapes his investment choices. Sustainability is not branding for him. It is risk management. Climate, energy, food systems. These are not moral add-ons. They are structural realities. Ignoring them is expensive. Critics might say this path lacks boldness, that it lacks the daring spirit of the Virgin brand. But Nicholas Branson is not trying to impress an audience. He is trying to stay relevant in a changing world. That requires restraint. It requires saying no. It requires understanding when not to move. These are skills rarely celebrated, but often decisive. There is also the question of legacy. What does it mean to inherit influence without inheriting authorship? Nicholas Branson appears comfortable with that tension. He does not seek to replace his father. He seeks to complement the era that followed. As Richard Branson embodied expansion, Nicholas Branson reflects consolidation. As one chased visibility, the other builds durability. This does not mean the Virgin story is finished. It means it is evolving. From founder myth to institutional presence. From personality-driven risk to portfolio-driven resilience. Nicholas Branson operates mostly out of sight. By design, he avoids becoming a symbol. Because symbols attract distortion and distraction. Instead, he plays a longer game, where influence is measured in outcomes rather than headlines, in survival rather than spectacle. The lesson of Nicholas Branson is subtle. That not every legacy must be loud. That continuity sometimes matters more than reinvention. That power can be exercised quietly, without diminishing its impact. He represents a generation of leaders who inherit complexity rather than opportunity, who must stabilize rather than disrupt. The open question is scale. Can this quieter model shape culture? In a world still addicted to founders, to charisma, to visible dominance, Nicholas Branson seems unconcerned, because he is not competing for attention. He is competing for relevance. Over time, and in a world where attention fades quickly, That may be the most durable strategy of all.